where the mind goes when people trade. And in different webinars that I've held, I've asked people to share some of the most frequent, most common, reoccurring, unhelpful thoughts that they have about themselves as a trader. And so what I might do in a few minutes is just ask some of the people who are joining. We can see some people here. Hi, Mike, Kenroy, Edward, Gladys. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. Lovely to see you all. If there's anything in particular over the course of webinars that you'd like us to cover for you, you can pop it into the comments boxes. But for now, if people just wanted to just take a moment and just to let us know what are the worrisome thoughts, or what we might say unhelpful thoughts that you can have. Sorry, apologies if there was no sound at the start. What are some of the worrisome thoughts that you have about yourself as a trader? If you want to just pop some of those into the comments box, that would be really, really helpful. Thank you. We're just working on sound here. Apologies if people haven't been able to hear us. I hope you can hear me. Can you just let us know if you can hear everybody at this point? Thank you. I'm just going to check the chat. Use the chat. Yeah, the chat. Everybody, we use the chat. I keep the chat open all the time. So if people want to put some comments into the chat and just let us know what are some of the worrisome thoughts or some of the most recurring unhelpful thoughts that you have when you're trading that you believe affects how you're performing. Because for the last few weeks, we've been talking about trading plans. And what we just want to start talking about tonight is performance plans. And something that directly influences your performance is where your thoughts are, your mindset. Lovely. So we'll just give people a moment just to pop your thoughts, maybe there's some of your thoughts that you have when you're trading into the comments. And Alex, if you want to, whilst they're doing that, maybe do you want to tell us a little bit about you and your trading history and why you decided to get into trading?
Sorry. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? I mean, I know there's some issues of echo, but let's just see what the chat is saying before I dive into the the question. Just want to make sure that everyone has a good thumbs up if the audio is actually okay.
I think so. I think I'm getting responses to what I'm asking here. Confidence, losing, starting the day off worried. There may be no trade setups. Lovely.
Yeah.
Worst thought is I trade is fear of missing out, makes me do things. Beautiful. I'm going to cover all of this. Natural beliefs about my life trajectory and past experiences about failure and success. Beautiful. I worry that I'll miss great trades. Lovely. We're going to cover all of that. Thank you, everybody.
Of course. All right. So that's a good to go from you guys. The audio is good. Apologies for that. Just a bit of technical issues. So this is one of the issues we may encounter, having a live webinar, but this is something that we have decided to do for you guys to just provide some value and just get some understanding of exactly how psychology actually impacts your trading. So great question, Dr. Joy. So for my point of view is I'm new to trading. I have traded, so I come from a background of like crypto trading, but that's totally different to Forex trading because it's a non-regulated market to a regulated market, and things don't really actually carry over. So one of the things, So one of the things that it's important for me is, since I've met Dr. Joy, is that she's managed to teach me how to use psychology to better myself before I've actually started trading. So I've had some psychology sessions before I've actually started trading. So now when I take trades and I move and enter the market, I already have that mindset already kind of set beforehand, which was actually a benefit instead of jumping to a deep end and then have to, worrying about it. So, all of my friends, one of the things that's important is I know how to control feelings, my emotions. And, if there's a bad day, if there's something bad in the market, I don't try and enter the market or lose an opportunity or do like that. So I like to have, for example, affirmations set for myself. For example, like, I'm a good trader. I don't miss opportunities. I enter when there's opportunity, so like I remind myself stuff like that. So I think that's one of the most benefits I've seen myself doing prior to jumping to the deep end, which, it's fair. Some people have just jumped into the deep end because they just want to understand how to make quick money and so things like that. But honestly, I recommend it highly. Just have psychology beforehand, or understanding how your emotions and your psychological has a big impact on your trading. So I'd rather do that first, have that done before just jumping into the deep end, because then when you have your emotions and everything's running around, it's tougher for you to pull yourself out of it, in my opinion, because it's like you're already creating a bad habit in a sense, and then it turns into oh, it's fine, I can reverse trade, or if something happens, I'll just do this, right? Which is not the way to approach the markets.
Lovely, thank you. Very nice. So I guess what Alex is saying is that he has learned how important it is to be able to have an awareness of his emotions and where his mind is when he's trading. And the different responses that have come in the chat to the question, what are the thoughts that you have about trading, or when you're going to trade, or about yourself as a trader? Because the really important thing to realize is that if you're going to trade, you actually want to be the trader that you would give your own money to trade for you. So you need to approach trading like a business. You need to approach it in a systematic, strategic, well-planned way. You need to, I talk about performance plans, and Alex mentioned maybe mantras or thoughts that he has about himself, positive self-talk. That's definitely part of a performance plan, because how you relate to yourself as a trader is going to influence how you feel when you're trading and the decisions that you make as you trade. So the performance plan that I'm talking about is directly related to how you perform when you trade. It's separate. Your trading plan is what you're going to do when you're going to enter the markets, what types of trade, what strategies you're going to use, when you're going to trade, what's your risk strategy. That's your trading plan. Your performance plan is all about who am I when I show up? Where's my mind when I show up? Where is my mind when I'm starting to develop my trading plan, when I'm exposing myself to all the information about the markets? And so it's about being able to recognize, I'm not feeling confident today, or I've got a thought in my head, what if I lose everything today? And then we've got what if I miss an opportunity today? So when I have that, what if I miss an opportunity, fear of missing out, as Stuart said, it tends to make me do things outside my plan. And that just brings me to a point that if you're developing a trading plan, these are all things we do subconsciously, but don't necessarily realize how it's influencing us. But if you develop a trading plan, it means when you were developing the plan, you had a strategic, organized way that you planned to trade. You had a plan that was going to influence how you performed, because it was going to tell you when to trade, what you were trading, how long you were going to trade for, what was your risk, in order to give you the confidence that you weren't going to lose more than you were prepared to. And so when you have that plan, it essentially gives you some degree of control of yourself and what's happening, because the markets are out of your control. And so the plan gives you something to hold on to, a framework. It reduces the uncertainty, because the plan gives you a sense of knowing in the unknown. And so the minute you decide to step away from your plan, step outside your plan, bin your plan, which many traders, it's such a frequent thing that traders do. But the minute you do that, what you have essentially told yourself is, I don't believe in my plan. I don't trust my plan. And what you're indirectly saying is, I don't believe in myself, and I don't believe I'm good enough, because if I've thrown the plan away and started working outside the plan, I've broken my rules and I'm out of control now with the out of control markets. Does that make sense? Do people understand where I'm coming to? So this notion of a trading plan isn't, you know, a luxury item. I think I mentioned one week. It's an essential item. And so I see more people here worrying about missing great trades, thinking fear of losing, how do you become a better loser? Okay, great question. And we'll touch on that today. I'm frazzled at the moment. Nothing seems to go right. I feel like giving up. Alex, please mute your mic when Josh. Okay, sorry, I'm just reading here. And we're grappling with sound a little, but we're getting there, guys. So basically, what we have here is, and I'm going to ask Alex in a moment if he ever experiences this, but lots of people, when you have fear of things potentially happening in the future, what if I miss a great trade? What if I lose? What ifs are very future focused, which means they're thoughts that we call hypothetical, which means they've never happened. Okay. But if I'm worrying about something happening in the future, the first thing I am not is very present right now as I'm trading. And my worrisome thought about what if I lose, what if I miss out on a great opportunity, they're creating a feeling of worry. So what I think creates a feeling, and my feeling is going to create an action. So if I am afraid, if I'm having a thought, what if I miss an opportunity? My mind is clouded by the emotion of fear, and I more than likely will miss an opportunity because I'm anxious now sitting trading. Have you ever experienced that, Alex?
That's actually a very good question. And so you're referring to if I saw a trade happen, if I was to become very nervous while taking a trade. And to be fair, yes, 100%. I mean, there's so many things I have on the market that happens every single day that you do get those nervous feelings, that little butterfly when you had the trade. And for example, you position yourself in the correct strategy. And then back. Okay. I think this is a bit more better. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So I've seen opportunities in the market where I'll look at a trade, I'll get my strategy up and running. As I'm still a beginner trader, so I will do my best to understand exactly what's actually happening and just follow my trading plan. But if, for example, I take a trade and I feel that nervous gap in me, in there's like butterfly or like that gut feeling, maybe you did everything correctly, position yourself correctly, did everything they needed to do for the trade, but maybe didn't analyze, maybe there was news happening, and then, for example, your trade goes your opposite way, right? And then you had that feeling, it's like, oh, you didn't feel 100% confident in that trade. I've had that happen to me before, and the best thing I will do for that is take a breather, stick to your plan, stick to what you have. So look at what made you in the first position to look at a trade. Why have you positioned yourself to take that trade? And is it ticking your boxes? Is it a good layout? Is it respecting a resistance and support? Is it respecting a trading plan? Is it respecting a strategy? If it hits yes on everything, take the trade and then leave your emotion out the side, because you wouldn't want to take a trade, not want to take a trade, and then you seeing that, oh, it's actually happening, it's going to go correctly, and then you look back at it, it's like, oh, take that trade. And then you have the regret, you have the little feeling inside of it, it's like, I should have done that. I should have, right? So I think the most important thing for that is you will need to just look at what are your setup and then just stick to it. Make sure it ticks all of your boxes. And if it does, take the trade. And then if there's things happening, for example, on circumstances in the market, like news get released and stuff like that, those will happen, but that's out of your control, right? So you have to look over like, I've done everything in my control to position myself. Anything outside of that happens, it's out of my control. I can't do anything but I just have to take the loss and then move forward, because that's why you know proper risk management and you set your stop losses and you take profits. Like I would say, so the way I will trade is I'll use only 2% per trade. So I will honestly only risk 2% per trade. Don't over leverage, don't go over the board, because it's a journey. It's a journey, and it's your own path. You don't need to force it. You need to be in a hurry. You don't need to just make sure you just do the basics of like ticking my boxes. I'm happy with it. I think this is the correct setup. I'm positive in it. Taking the trade and just let it happen.
Yeah.
And then just take that emotion behind it, because I want to become an emotional trader.
Yeah.
Because then that's when you look at the green and the red, and it's like, and then you don't want the ooh and ahs as if it goes up and down, because that's the whole point of trading.
Yeah.
Things are going to be fluctuating. It's a volatile market, but if you're doing things correctly, you are going to benefit a lot and be very profitable down the line.
Okay, lovely. So it sounds to me from what you're saying that you have learned, trained yourself, disciplined yourself, that I have a plan. And even as my trade, as it's developing, if it's not going exactly like I thought it would, I can feel a sense potentially of worry inside, but I'm going to stick to my plan. I'm not
100%.
going to react based on something unexpected. I'm sticking to my plan. So that's the first thing. And if I consistently stick to my plan, that's one way of allowing me, monitor and reflect and review my performance to see if I'm improving. But a question I just want to ask you, Alex, is about the risk. So you said I always sit with the 2% risk. And because a lot of people talk about fear of losing, and we're going to come to it now, don't worry, in terms of how do you become a better loser. But for now, I just want Alex to maybe just give a few insights into why he chooses. I always just stick at the 2%. What does that give you, Alex? Given when you just decide, no, that's my risk range, what does that give you?
That's actually a very good question. The reason why I stick to the 2% rule is it's one of the reason is it's a good margin to trade on. 2% on any account size. It's not too big to hurt you.
Yeah.
And it's not it can be a big win if you do your reward to ratio. So for example, you risk £100 to make £200.
Yeah.
You can risk that based on your take profits. But in the sense of like entering a trade of 2% it's something comfortable. It's my comfortable zone. And a 2% risk is that, okay, if I lose 2% today, I know that I need to be making 4% the next day to to recover. Because you need to make twice back for you to break even, right? So I'll rather have the 2% knowing that, okay, it's not too hard to get back. It's only 2% of your account balance. I wouldn't want to put my balance, for example, at, oh, okay, let me risk 5% or 10%, because to recover from 10%, you need to make 20%, right? So you need to double.
That's pressure.
Exactly. You need to double your 2%. It's not too tough, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's not that damaging on your mind. For example, so okay, I'm down £200. That's fine. It's only £200. You can make that money back in a trade. You can make that money tomorrow. It's only £200. But if you look at £200 to £2,000, it's a bigger stress, right? You have that burden in your mind. It's like, okay, I need to make back 2,000. I need to make that, right? But that all comes down to account size and how you're approaching market. But I said 2% is a ideal risk management tool to do. Percent on any account is the correct way to go. Keeps balance between your plan and also your mental as well. So you wouldn't want to put much strain on yourself. You can, of course, feel free to increase or take profit to have a higher reward. That's fine, but you don't want to risk your loss lower than 2%.
Okay, lovely. So what I'm hearing from Alex is that the 2% feels safe. So it gives him a sense of safety and security, in the sense I'm not going to lose too much. If I lose 200 today, I'm comfortable with that. It's not ideal. We don't want to lose, but then The reality is trading is about winning and losing. And if I win, I land on the right side of probability. And if I lose, I just land on the wrong side of probability. So when people, talk about losing, it's part of trading. Most other jobs that we engage with, there is almost like a cause and effect. If I do X, Y will happen. Trading's not like that. It doesn't, we, I suppose, are naturally programmed to be outcome focused. We're all about goals and targets, and we want a promotion because if we get that promotion, we have a higher salary, and we work hard and we know if we do X, Y, and Z, we'll get our promotion. But in trading, if we do X, Y, and Z, it doesn't guarantee the income. But if we're consistent in how we trade and we hold ourselves in a comfortable position, and so therefore we're trading confidently, we will have consistent income. So Alex is saying that 2% means that I don't worry too much if I lose, and therefore I'm not bringing that worry into tomorrow. And therefore that worry is managed by the 2%, it's contained. And so therefore it doesn't trigger my emotional brain to influence my trading tomorrow. And so therefore it sounds like keeping my risk at 2% is okay if I win, and it's okay if I lose. So it keeps me in a neutral place. Therefore I'm regulated. So we talk about the need to have a neutral mindset when we trade, which means I'm not overexcited because I've seen something in the analysis that suggests there's really hot opportunities today. And if I do see that, I just acknowledge it, but I don't get excited. And if I maybe see the markets and I think, oh, it looks more thunderstormy today, I'm not going to get disheartened. I'm just going to take in the information, relate to it neutrally, just fact of what I'm reading. Because if I keep a neutral mindset, I'm therefore creating a neutral emotional landscape. And so I'm not going to be an emotional trader, if that makes sense to everybody. So somebody's just asked a question here, solution for going against your plan or not following it. And I'll pose that to Alex in a second. But I guess initially when we read that, and I was mentioning when you go against your plan, you're essentially going against yourself. When we work in a company, they've got rules that we need to follow. So we're accountable to the company. And I think this is part of the psychology here, but we're very accountable to the company. And if we don't follow the rules, the policies, we'll get in trouble. And the policies are there to ensure that we work at a certain standard consistently. Okay. So not following your plan, going against your plan. And I hear this from so many traders. I develop a plan and then it's almost, being honest, emotional brain steps in. They worry they're going to miss an opportunity, FOMO, and they jump in ahead of it. But a little bit like I said earlier, if you decide to break your own rules, you're telling yourself your plan was no good because you've decided to cast it aside. And you've also lowered the standards of your trading. And so solution for going against it, I often say to people at the very start of the day, in particular, if you're trading, you're asking yourself, how do I want to feel today when I'm trading? I want to feel confident and I want to feel professional. And then you ask, okay, well, what could I do that would help my confidence? And with Alex, he says, I keep my risk in 2%. That's going to feed into my confidence. And the second thing is, if I prepare a trading plan and I stick to it, that's also going to give me a sense of confidence. So you need to think about, why am I developing the plan? What is it giving me when I'm trading to actually want to commit to it? So Alex, what is your experience with trading plans, and what do you do, or have you even thought about this, or is it just something natural? But in terms of discipline with your trading plan, do you want to share a little bit with the listeners about that?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a natural thing for me as well. I mean, every person is different, which is understandable, but the way I look at it, to the solution to keeping something disciplined is I started doing smaller things in my day-to-day life, which has disciplined my mind into carrying that over. So it's essentially like a domino effect, right? So you always hear the saying is make your bed in the morning, right? Or go for a run or go for a walk, or just your day should start with like just the basic stuff,
Yeah.
right? Tidy your room or just do your bed, right?
Yeah.
And basically what that means is you've just done the smallest task of the day, which now that fulfills you, which then for that, then he goes, okay, I've done that, then I can do the next thing. Then you can do the next thing. So essentially, I've created myself a roadmap from the day I wake up. The time I go to sleep is I wake up, I have a routine that I'm stuck for. And it's not saying, okay, you have to jump into the deep end and all of a sudden have to change your whole life around overnight. But the way to build the disciplined mind is you need to do smaller things each day continuously regarding how you feel, and that way your brain gets used to it, and then that builds your own discipline. Because at the end of the day, if you can just do that one task every single day regarding how you feel, regarding what happens in the world, if it rains, if it doesn't rain, that is telling your body and your mind that I'm gonna do it, I have to do it, right? So when I look at my routine is I have to go, no, I'm going gym. I'm going gym. Like, I have to go to the gym because that's what I've said to myself. That's my standard, right? So you have to essentially put some standards in your life, right? So that's the solution for me is it wasn't something over day, overnight. It was things over a couple of months, slowly adding up, slowly building up. And you can just start with the smallest thing, which is just making a bed or reading one page of, maybe reading a page of a book at night that gives you some sort of fulfillment, but it's a discipline to your own self. So you don't have to do what everyone is doing, but you have to put things in place for your own benefit, right? So some people might like to, read a book at night. Fine, just keep sticking to read two pages a night, right? Do that for a week, then do 3 pages and 4 pages, and so on and so on. And then you slowly build it up into a point where it becomes your routine religiously. And once you do that, then you add other stuff. So one of the things, and I've told you before about this, is I've done triggers around my house and around the room for myself. So when I wake up in the morning, so I don't miss my, eating my supplements, and drinking my water, is before I go to sleep, I fill my glass up with water. I'm put it next to my bedside table, right next to my phone when I wake up, and I also have my vitamins right next to it. So the first thing I do when I wake up, when I stop the alarm, is I see the water and I see the vitamins. My brain already sees it as a trigger because I've already put in place. So then I already take that. That's one worry off from my head, from my mind gone. And then the next thing is, okay, I got the gym bag right next to my bed. So as soon as I've done my bed, gym bag is at the end of the bed. Then that's another trigger for myself. So then essentially just I'm programming myself subconsciously, but I'm knowing that I'm doing it because then it makes it easy. So like you roll out of bed, you do this and go on. So it basically becomes like a little domino effect to your everyday life. And then I know that once I've done those things in the morning, then my day becomes better because I've already ticked off my personal goals, my personal things that I need to do. Make sure that I feel better and I'm in a great mind, great space. Then I can come to the office and attack anything that's coming at me with full energy or clarity, 100% of my time. So I think doing things like that will 100% position you for success, and also position you to be able to become a better person in the sense of following just a trading plan, right? So if you write it down and say this is what you want to do, start by, okay, today I'm going to follow this step. Tomorrow I'm going to do this, and then do this, and then slowly build onto it where you keep adding to it, and then it just becomes your norm, right? And then you don't have to think about it. It's like it basically you're putting yourself on autopilot essentially. So you're just doing things because they're already been in place, right? And you can 100% agree with that because your brain will start recognizing those as a pattern, also as an autopilot, essentially triggers subconsciously.
Beautiful. So what Alex is beautifully describing there is building habits. And so initially it sounds like, this isn't what I used to do. But when I wake up in the morning, I want to remind myself what I want to do and the habit that I want to form, which is vitamins. And then his gym bag's there as a little reminder. Oh, yes, this other habit is I want to go to the gym. So I want the vitamins because I want to feel healthy physically. I have the gym bag, and my why of the gym bag is I want to go to the gym. I want to feel confident. I want to feel physically fit. I want endorphins. So he knows his why for everything he's doing. And because it's not all autopilot initially, he's describing how he is helping himself develop a habit, because that takes effort. If it's something that I haven't done before, I'm not naturally going to remember to do it. But they say it takes approximately maybe 30 days to develop a habit, and maybe I don't have to think about it every day after that. But initially it's prompts. And so as Alex was talking there, I was thinking, okay, if you want to stick to your plan. So I'm going to ask a question, and I'd love if people would feed into the comments. So people said, how do you stick to your plan? Well, the first thing I would be asking you, and please tell me, why do you develop a plan in the first place? What is your why of developing the plan? Because that will actually help you decide if you want to stick to it or not. So if people want to just put into the comments box the answer, why do you develop a trading plan? And we'll see what people are going to say. When you develop a plan, what is the purpose of the plan? What is your why of developing that plan? So as people are typing that into the comments, I would be suggesting developing a plan if you don't, or sticking to a plan if you don't. I would put a sticky note on my computer, and I would be saying, remember to develop your trading plan. Put a sticky note on your computer. Remember, your trading plan is you as a disciplined trader. A sticky note, maybe you and your trading plan means you have focus and certainty. And so it's like, what do you gain? So I see here Edward saying, I develop a plan as an attempt to be more disciplined. Beautiful. So that's what Alex was saying. You know, I go in and I know what I'm going to do. And so Alex is developing discipline. And I know Mo would have also talked about what he does in the morning, and people might wonder, why is that important? Because the more discipline you have in general, it's a way of life. The more discipline you're going to want naturally to bring to your trading, because you don't tend to live your life in an ad hoc basis. You have thought about what you're doing and why you want to do it. So here we have Claudio has says, having more profits than losses if it is a profitable strategy. Beautiful, because it creates balance in your life and you can work towards other things that continue making you a better person. Yanis, thank you so much. And there's a goal board now. Wonderful, Edward, fabulous. So that's I love it, because that's a little bit like, how do we encourage children? And we're all children on some level, but how do we encourage children to behave well and have developed good habits? We have star charts. So I love that there's a goal board. And if somebody was going to give me a star or praise or validation when I did things well, is that going to encourage me? Of course it is. So your goal board, I love it. It's visual. You can see it. You've got your goals, and am I working towards them? And when I achieve them, it's you giving yourself that feedback that I'm going in the right direction. So when we're talking about trading plans, I think it's one of the most common things I hear. I develop a plan and I don't stick to it. And I love what Alex said. Everything, you know, gradually. Rome wasn't built in a day. I think we're all aware of that, but how magnificent is it as a city? And so it's that sense, Alex was saying, just little by little by little. So when people tell me, oh, I stick to my plan 20% of the time, I'm like, okay, so maybe between now and the next time we talk, if you stick to it 1 day a week or 2 days a week, try and stick to it 3 days a week, as opposed to thinking, no, you need to stick to it 7 days a week. It's no, just stick to it 1 more day a week than normal, to just let yourself walk into it a little bit. But the key part is, when you use your trading plan, when you have completed your trading that day, a really nice reflection in your journal, your reflection trading journal, is to ask yourself, how did it feel today using the plan? Because now I'm starting to relate to why I'm using it. So yes, it gives me discipline. Yes, it helps me look for good strategies, and I feel more confident entering the markets when I know the lay of the land. Fine. But ultimately, how did it make you feel? Because feeling is everything when you're trading. So if you have a plan and you use the plan, at the end of the day, you might notice I felt more relaxed. I felt calmer. I wasn't overthinking. And then on the days that you decide to step outside your plan, and by doing that, I'm just going to reiterate, I'm telling myself my plan isn't good enough and I'm not good enough. We do not want to be telling ourselves that, but that's essentially what you're telling yourself when you step outside of your plan. You're giving yourself negative feedback. At the end of that trading session, have a little reflection and ask yourself, how did that make me feel? And so I'm going to ask Alex a question unrelated to trading this time, and ask him, how do you feel when you go to the gym, when you finished your training session?
So before I go to the gym, I feel, no, I don't want to do it personally.
Beautiful.
I was like, yeah, I don't want to do it. I want to lay in bed, comfortable, right?
Yeah.
But knowing that once I get to the gym and I finish it, I feel much more energetic, and I feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, I've done my goal for the day. Go to the gym, take your supplements, and be healthier mentally and physically. So once my gym session has completed, I then go and have breakfast, coffee, and then I head over to the office, knowing that I've already done one of my tasks already. I've already feel completed. I've already feel that, okay, nothing else can ruin my day, essentially, because I have done what's best for me in the morning, which will better me, which will better position myself for what's about to happen. Basically, I'm preventing any bad happening because I've already done my own internal goals. And in that way, I can just approach the day full ahead, with clarity and build that I've done it. So yeah, the feeling is it's great. It's I feel energetic. I feel the chemicals pumping the body, and then all of a sudden my mood elevates, right? So I don't feel, oh, I feel sleep. I want to. I already feel that, okay, I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel happy.
Beautiful. And I think what Alex has done there very nicely is tell us that initially I don't want to do it. I don't want to go to the gym. I want to lay in bed. And so he has an urge to go against what he knows is good for him. Because when he's finished in the gym, what he's telling us is, I feel energized. I feel empowered. All the endorphins are there. I'm feeling good about myself. I feel like I've achieved. And so somewhere in that, I feel empowered because I was disciplined. And although I didn't want to do it, I did it. And in doing that, what we're learning is I can control myself. Because when we don't stick to our plan, or people ask me, how can I be disciplined? That is totally in your control. The markets are not. So thinking you can control the markets or look for the perfect strategy or look for the perfect entry point, not necessarily, but can I discipline myself and absolutely stick to my plan with some degree of flexibility, depending on what's happening? That's 100% in your control. So when people say I'm not disciplined, you're choosing not to be, because Alex could choose every morning not to get up and go to the gym. And really, when he chooses not to go to the gym, what he's saying no to, he's saying no to feeling energized, no to feeling empowered, no to feeling in control of himself, no to feeling like I've achieved and succeeded this morning. And what an amazing headspace to go into work, because you're setting the tone for the day. So I guess what I would like to invite people to do is, because we're almost out of time today, but I think that's just such a beautiful example that there are lots of things in life that we will not want to do. And when people are trading, so often they will, for whatever reason, develop a plan and then decide they're not going to stick to it. And I'm going to challenge you to challenge yourself and recognize that your brain is always going to want to work against you. Your brain will always try and talk you out of things that it knows is good for you, i.e. we know smoking's bad for us, but it'll always get you to crave a cigarette, and a cigarette is not necessarily good for you. And so if you are somebody who can naturally worry, be anxious, self-doubt, if I jump out of my trading plan, I'm going to start feeling worried, anxious, and self-doubting. And that's exactly where your subconscious brain wants to take you. And hence it whispers to you somewhere in the back of your head, oh my God, let the trading plan go. Here's an opportunity. Jump in quicker. You're going to miss something. So it starts generating these thoughts. And what you have to do is a little bit like Alex does in the morning, turn the volume of your commitment and discipline to yourself up louder than the voice that wants to tell you to pack it in. And that's committing to yourself. And that's telling yourself, no, I'm in control. When I let my trading plan go, or Alex decides not to go to the gym, he's let his subconscious control him. And what he's done is he's let go of the opportunity to feel like I'm in control, I'm committed to myself, I'm disciplined, I'm succeeding. So that's really, really lovely. And I was kind of hoping that he might say that he doesn't always want to go, but as it happens, it turns out that that's very much how it is, but he still goes. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, that is exactly how you should look at everything. And you should, I think people forget about that. They care about making others happy and being committed to, like, for example, if you have a job, you're committed to the job, but then you kind of forget about your own self. So that's why in the morning, it's my time. That's me, myself, and I set those things in for myself. And then once I've done those, then I know that I feel better, I feel happier, I feel more clear, I have clarity, I feel more healthier mentally and physically. And those are the feelings that I want to approach each individual day. And then that makes me become a better person overall, and also be able to professionally and personally become a better person. So a lot of people, I think, they just forget about that, and it also just starts with just self, and then it starts with the smallest thing that you can do every single day. So I mean, it's been a fantastic talk. I mean, this has been liberating in a sense of like, yeah, I mean, not always people want to do things, but just being able to push yourself through the barrier and just say, I am going to do it because I have to, will set you up for a better life and a better day ahead, rather than just giving in, because it just, at the end of the day, just telling yourself, oh, I'm giving up on myself. You shouldn't. You should always say to myself, I want to feel this, I want to be this, I am going to do those things because I want to feel this, which is, it's not selfish or anything like that. It's basically you looking out for yourself.
And being selfish is okay, because that's,
in some instances,
yes, absolutely. It's incredibly essential, because when we work for other people, you know, we do things for them. And in doing that, we tell them they matter. And so when we start doing things for ourselves, the message we're giving to ourselves is we matter. And so I guess the challenge that I'm going to set for everybody, and thank you so much for attending tonight. It's been absolutely wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing in the comments. It's been really lovely to get your perspective and get some feedback so we could work with that during the session. But the challenge for everybody listening tonight is, if you find that you use your trading plan 30% of the time, I'm going to ask you to challenge yourself to put a sticky note on your computer saying, I use my plan because it helps me. I use my plan because it gives me. I use my plan because it allows me feel X. You complete the sentence, pop it on your computer, and I'm challenging you to use your trading plan one more day than you usually do. So if you use it 4 out of 5, if you trade 5 days, or if you use it 2 out of 5, use it 3 out of 5, put an extra day on. That's all we're asking. So we're not asking you to use it every time, because that's just sometimes setting us up for failure with something that we don't naturally do. A little bit like Alex said, you walk into a habit one day at a time, letting it evolve naturally, and tune in next week and we will see how people are getting on, trying to work on being a little bit more disciplined and building habits to allow them become mindful, successful traders. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, thank you, everyone. And just to give us a little bit of feedback in the comments or in the chat if you enjoyed this session.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Okay, bye.
Take care.